Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. I wanted to talk to you guys about some old alts I've had because it is pretty much my first and only dive into trading. I wanted to just talk to you guys about it, what I did, and I'm just wondering if you guys have got any tips or how do you guys think nowadays when it comes to trading? Because I was thinking now when I was hovering around in my station here in my skiff, like, I was thinking that this station here reminds me a lot of the Jita trade station because its appearance is very similar to the one of the old Jita trade station. And maybe think about, I actually I would say probably 2016 to 17, I had quite a few alts, and these alts were then trading alts, and it was four. I had four trading alts, and this was then before when alpha clones were only able to train one race. So before you weren't able to train different races of ships. You were only able to use, like, say, characters only able to use Amarian ships, or characters only able to use Kaldari ships, but it depended a lot on your race. Now Alpha Clones are able to use everything. But the point is, I had four alts. Each one had different races, sort of one for each race. And I had then one of these alts in each trade hub of the different races. So I had one in Heck, one in Amar, one in Jita, and then one in Dodixie. And what I would do there is I would have these four alts, and I would do some trading there. And I mean, my knowledge of trading is very bad. I'm still not good. Even these many years later, I'm still not at all good at trading. But I would say that I wanted to talk about the strategies I made there, and I'm just wondering what kind of ways do people do nowadays, because I'm willing to learn a lot. I'm quite curious to what there is to learn about it. But the way I used to do was then I would buy ammunition, primarily ammunition, but also sometimes random items. It could be mainly ammunition, but then also a lot of ship modules. I remember I did trade some planetary interaction stuff. Plasma. There was an item called plasma something. We see here plasma. I think it was plasmonic metamaterials here. I'd trade some of these, and I'd buy them low. I tried to use the buy orders to buy them low, and then I would sell them in sell orders for a bit higher prices. Now, this was then back before where you could do the 0.1 ISK game, so you could always increase the ISK value by just 0.1. So basically, hardly any change in the ISK increase value when you're like trying to outcompete someone. So I noticed that what made me in the end not like to do it anymore was that people were always just outcompeting you, moving up the item you had to be slightly cheaper than yours, or the buy price was slightly more than yours. So I would do that with these basic items. What I'd do is I would go into the different items in the store, and then I'd look, what are some good margins, like what margins here compared to here. And that was my main strategy at the time. And I had four different alts as well, so I was able to get like a big variance of trading goods. So if I had everyone in Jita, then I'd be like very the same, but I was able to sort of take advantage, or not taking advantage, but at least be exposed to the different markets, so it could be a bit more varying, and maybe I would make some offers that I would not be able to make otherwise. But in the end, I didn't really like it. I thought it was quite boring, but it also was quite interesting because I remember that I did actually manage to make quite a bit of profit. Not so much, but it was something. The goal was that I started out with all these four alts with 5 million ISK. I had just 5 million ISK, and the point is then I was going to then make it so that this guy is able to get as much ISK as possible then from that. So I would then trading this stuff, and I would say over the span of a few months, I was able to make that 5 million ISK into 30 million ISK. So I was decently happy with that, but the reason why I didn't want to continue with that because it required quite a bit of work, and it took such a long time. So for me, it was just boring, and I didn't really do it much. But I am actually considering to maybe try this again, and the reason is because now I'm a little bit more knowledgeable of what makes sense in the game. Then I didn't really know what had to do with what. Like, I didn't really know the impact of what even was a planetary interaction good. What even is a ship module that's often used in maybe a new ship that is released. Like, my knowledge of the game is a bit more now, and I think it might be slightly different now that you're not able to do 0.1 ISK game like you previously were able to do. because now you have to reduce or change the price by a certain amount of significant figures. So I think the amount of 0.1 isking is going to be a little bit less than before. Could be an idea to do that with you guys. I think that would be fun to try out, see if you could add anything. It could be like even a mini series. I'm not sure if I will do that, but if I do, I think it will be quite interesting. See the progress of what we can have. We can maybe even like document it in like a graph or something. Then we can just see the graph over time, because it was definitely like that with my old alts. I was able to like have that 5 million ISK and then go slowly up over time, and it was very, very marginal. It would have probably, I can imagine, probably I would have earned quite a bit more ISK if I would have been a bit more active in my play, maybe moving stuff to and from stations. So that could be an idea as well. So maybe something I could try out, see if we can make an alt that's able to earn ISK by just moving stuff to and from stations and then trading them. Could be fun to try. I think, because the way you can just live in a different, it's like a completely different lifestyle to the way I live now in EVE Online. Right now I'm almost earn all my ISK from doing combat, and then a tiny bit of mining I do just to chill and relax. But this is nothing serious here. This is just more like just a pastime, you could say, and also swim among the asteroids. But earning some ISK on a character and then not having to do any kind of combat at all, I think that sounds quite interesting. I would like to test that out sometime. Could be a good idea. So my question to you guys is that, do you have any tips on like, do people, is this even a thing that people go around just trading all day long and they earn a ton of ISK that way? And do you guys like have any like the pros and negatives of that? Because I can imagine that for many people, if they take it very seriously, it can easily become a burnout situation where you're just all day just checking the market and updating orders all the time. But I can imagine then some people think it's very fun and interesting, and in a way it's a certain type of PvP at the same time as well. You're competing against other players just in a different way. Like the same way I talk about how these event sites that we do with the Blood Raiders, the Goristas, where you compete over these bosses, you destroy the bosses, and you try to do as much damage as possible to secure the loot of the boss. It's a form of PvP in a way, even though you're just facing the NPCs, because when other people are there, you have to do as much damage as possible, more damage than the other people, to be able to acquire the loot. So in this way, when you're doing trading, it's also another form of PvP, being able to sort of outbid the other competitors for items to be able to acquire as much ISK as possible. It could be fun. It would be fun to do, actually. A way one could do is like just do project discovery while then you're doing mining, and then you have updating trade orders at the same time. That would be pretty cool, actually. We'd like to try that out sometime. I don't know, what do you guys think? Would that be something interesting you would be willing to see? The thing is, I'm not so knowledgeable at all about trading, so there's not really much I can unfortunately it won't be much informational content. It'll be more just like, oh, look at what this guy is doing, and let's see how well or how bad it goes. But I would like to try. I think it would be fun to perhaps give it a go someday. And if I do try to do it someday, do you guys have any tips on what could be a good starting, or just maybe not starting, because I know that there's a lot of people that don't want to just say, oh, trade this, because that's not going to be a good idea, because that's going to be altered in what the value is, the good value of trading is, because only certain items maybe have good profits. So if everyone trades, then there's not going to be as good profit anymore. But if there's any kind of like general mindset that you have any tips on, I'll be gladly appreciate it if you could let me know in the comments down below. Yep, so that was just my thoughts there. I wanted to talk a little bit about the 4 alts I had that I previously did trading. I was pretty happy that I was able to turn 5 million ISK into 30 million ISK times 4 on each alt. So each alt had 5 million ISK to start with, and how I started thinking about that because of the station we've got here that looks like Cheetah, and how we might be starting up something similar again sometime, just to give a little bit of a change of pace. I'm all about that change of pace. Could be cool to see what we can achieve. Maybe you would even do that on this character. Like, I would actually like to do it on my AC Phaser character, just doing trading, because I mean he's got all the skills and everything traded up. But the problem is that his ISK is like his ISK is always so high, so it's not as satisfying to see the increase in the value unless I stash it away somewhere. Then I'll see that, okay, I have got this much, not just I get earner from other activities in the meantime. Or maybe I could perhaps have like a you could say, a certain container that contains all these traded goods, so we can see what we turn these goods into this value and this into this value, etc., etc. Could be interesting as well. We'll see what we can come up with. So just a little bit of discussion with you guys while I'm chilling here in my skiff mining in the system of Isaziwa, my current home. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.